Hi all, welcome back to the channel for another update on the jet bike. Today I've been working on the combustion chamber, which looks like that. So it's got that same funny little trapezoid on it as the output of the supercharger manifold, and a 4-inch V-band on the end to mount up to the exhaust. I'll show you what that looks like over here. So that's the V-band there, and that's going to route up, or that routes up into the power turbine there. And the combustion chamber will sit sort of long way, sideways in a diagonal orientation. You can get air from the supercharger manifold in there, and then there'll be a cap on the end here that has a fuel line and a spark plug in it. I've also been working on the front serpentine belt. I did get the belt on there and give the engine a pull just to see how much resistance there was, and there was way too much. So I swapped out the pulley here for a slightly smaller one, and I've changed the driving system here. I did originally underdrive it with the big pulley on the side there, but I got up on there and that was right where I wanted to put my foot, was that pulley. So I've ordered a smaller pulley to go on there. It's still an overdrive, but it's slightly less overdrive. We'll see how that goes, but I can swap it around and underdrive it if I have to. Play around with the ratios a little bit there. I've also got some silicon bends have arrived. So I've got the water intercooler just waiting on the last little connector to go up there, but I'm pretty happy with where that sits there, and then the seat will go on top of there. But that's about all the progress I've done this week. Pretty happy with that. Didn't get a whole lot of time, but got a few little odds and ends done. Did actually work out what I've got left to do. So after I've made the combustor, combustion chamber, mount the oil coolers on the side there, then the intercoolers outside those, and then get the merge piping from those worked out up into this top supercharger here. Then get the heat exchanger mounted up. I've got an oil to water heat exchanger that's just going to equalize the pressure a little bit between the two different cooling systems. I think that'll probably live up here somewhere, but that's something that can really go anywhere, along with the water pump, which will just go somewhere where there's space. I still need to get the compression brake mounted up there. I'm waiting for the for another turnbuckle to arrive so I can make a belt tensioner there. I need a fuel pump manifold. So this is the pump that's going to be pumping fuel into the combustion chamber. I need to make a manifold that comes off there with a little mini bike carb on it there, so that can draw fuel through there and pump it into the combustion chamber. I also need to do the same thing for the aircon pump that will be acting as a compression brake there. So that needs some sort of manifold on it. That will connect to what I'm using to oil the two systems, which is another mini bike carb, which will have oil running into it. Use air tool oil or two-stroke oil or something like that to keep those two aircon pumps lubricated, because they're normally lubricated by the Freon gas that now they don't have. So that's something else. I'll use the same carb to run between the both of them. I need to make an airbox, obviously, to go down there. Mount the oil tank that'll feed the two aircon pumps, and then mount the catch can that'll feed the oil tank. Get the seat mounted up with the foot pegs dummied up. Find somewhere to put the air tank and the pneumatic cylinder that's going to control the fuel mixture off the manifold pressure. I need to find, I still need to put the pipe on there for the dump valve, the wastegate on there. That's getting a little bit tight in there with the combustion chamber in there, but I think I've worked that out. That's 1.5-inch tubing, so I'll get a little bend up there and see what I can do there. I also need to figure out some way to mount the actuator for that, because the factory wastegate actuator for that big turbo now it doesn't fit because this intercooler piping is in the way. So I'll have to modify that or remote mount it or something somewhere. Find somewhere to put the battery. That'll probably live back here in front of the back wheel. There's a little bit of space there, and it's relatively far away from anything hot, which is, there's not many of those places on this bike. So I'll need a battery and a fuse box. I'd probably like to put a tail light on it really. I don't think it really needs indicators. It's not going on the road, but a brake light will be a good idea. And I need to reinforce the chassis a little bit. I've cut out a fair bit of structure to make everything fit back in, so once I've got everything in it that I need to, I'll put some structure in there where it fits. And I'd like to modify this rear manifold a little bit. I kind of screwed it up. The turbos aren't perfectly symmetrical, so depending on how much that is annoying me after I've finished everything else, I'll tackle that. A little bit of pipe in here and extend that out, and then just extend that arm out a little bit to get the two of them evenly out both sides. Maybe it's just a little OCD. We'll see what it looks like when it's all done. Once I've done all that, then I can tear it all down, weld up the chassis and the manifolds and the turbo piping and the combustor and all the other things, and then put it back together and do brake lines, fuel lines, air lines, oil lines, and electrical system, and then grip it and rip it and see if it runs. But that might be a few videos away. Tune in next week to see what this looks like in the bike and how far I've got on plumbing that in.